This is the disclaimer for Wildlife Control Consultant and Pest Geek Podcast for the Living the Wildlife podcast. Always follow national, state, provincial, and local laws when using pesticides and/or other control methods to manage pests. Wildlife Control Consultant, LLC, Pest Geek Podcast, Living the Wildlife Podcast, Stephen M. Vantassel, or their or his affiliates are not responsible for followers' use of the information provided here. Hi everyone, Stephen Vantassel here. I know I'm not in the frame, but we're giving you another episode of Living the Wildlife Podcast as part of the Pest Geek Podcast family. Today, glad to have you on board. If you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me at wildlifecontrolconsultant@gmail.com, wildlifecontrolconsultant@gmail.com. Wanted today to talk about a product that I was sent that I had a chance to play with a little bit. This is called the Victor M460UC Zapper Max. And so there it is. You can see has some openings there to allow rodents in. This is an electronic rodent trap, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit here. As you know, a lot of people have concerns over secondary rodenticide poisoning. They're wanting to go quote-unquote green or non-toxic, and so they're looking for ways to control mice or rats in a manner that's not going to have rodenticides. Some people also want to use humane methods of control, and certainly electrocution meets that criterion. It may not be, strictly speaking, euthanasia. However, it certainly would meet the criterion of humane dispatch. And if you want to learn more about those two terms, you can go back through and look Google search on my podcast on euthanasia and the difference between euthanasia and humane dispatch. So I'm not going to discuss that here. I wanted to talk about this particular trap. So this was sent to me, and give you some dimensions on it. It's 18 inches long, so I have a span of about 8 to 9 inches, so it kind of gives you an idea how big it is. And then it's 5.5 inches wide from here to here. So look about the size of that pen, 5.5 inches wide, and 3.5 inches tall. So it has a pretty sleek design here. Has a little sort of plastic see-through lid so you can look for things inside of it, although I don't find this particularly helpful in terms of what we need it for, but I think is to kind of give a little bit of light inside for maybe rodents to look into. It's dark enough, but it still allows some light to be seen through it. But in any event, you would open it up like this, and according to one of the ads I read, it says that when you open the lid, it shuts off. So the main kill area is located here. Hold that up for you. And you can see the metal plates there. That's where the rodent is going to make electrical contact and get electrocuted. So if you're going to find out how to remove get to how's it powered, well, you would pull this section out. This makes for easy cleaning if you need to clean it, which is nice. And then this portion would simply slide out. So you can't just simply pull this out. You have to kind of dismantle the whole thing internally. And this is what powers the device. Now, what I don't like about it is it requires you to unscrew all these screws in order to put in the 4 AA batteries. That's a lot of work. It's a hassle. I would certainly recommend having a motorized drill bit. A lot of you already have that, of course. Screwdriver, mechanical screwdriver to kind of zip through this. But that's a real pain in the butt. I wish they would change this particular design. There may be a reason maybe to keep it a little bit more water resistant perhaps, because one ad I read did say this could be used outdoors. The situation that I'm using it in right now is not outdoors. I'm using it inside an unheated garage, And this is Montana, so I put it out there, I believe, in September. And the batteries kind of went dead in December, so you're looking at 3 to 4 months. And I was only using Duracell, regular Duracell batteries, only 4 AA's. I would certainly recommend 4 Energizer lithium batteries, like the Energizer Bunny, the Energizer lithium batteries. I think you'll get a little bit more length out of them. A little more expensive, but I've been very happy with Energizer batteries when I've used them for other things. Energizer lithium, I need to be clear about that. But if you're looking at if cost is an issue, certainly Duracell batteries will work. And I got about 3 months out of that in cold conditions. I think you might get more out of warmer conditions. But it's a real hassle to get to take this out. But understand you have 4 AA batteries here. And you would turn it on. And you're kind of good to go. It's going to power all this up. Now, you may say, well, how do you know if you caught anything? Well, that's kind of neat in the sense that it will blink. It will blink when it's fired. And it will also blink for you when it's getting low on power. And of course, when it's dead, it won't be blinking anymore. So it'll give you a visual cue as to whether there's been a capture, and it will give you a visual cue if the batteries are getting weak and you need to get them replaced. So just to kind of show you a little bit more about this, you should be able to see that it has some zip tie connections. So if you want to put it up on a ledge or something and need to anchor it down, it also has holes inside of it for you to drill it down and secure it or anchor it to the ground if you need to, which is a nice feature as well. And otherwise, it's kind of simple to use. Let me put this back together again. And you say, well, can you bait it? Certainly you can bait it. Try this side. Here we go. And this is where you'd bait it. It has a little baiting capsule here. And this is where the odor would come in. Make sure you can see that. Notice the holes there. And so you would just simply pop open this little device here. I found it a little difficult to open up, but there you go. And there you put your bait in. I was just using plain peanut butter. Snap it together and drop it into place. And then you can secure it like this. And if you need to, you can certainly lock it, which is a nice feature as well. And it's hard for, it has certain safety features that make it harder. I think the rodent has to get in a little bit farther inside here before it can get electrocuted. Otherwise, if kids are sticking their fingers in here, I don't think that's going to quite work, but don't hold me to that. It's a bit pricey. It costs about $140. I think you might be able to get some bulk discounts with it. Again, this is the Victor M460UC Zapper Max, and I was able to get a successful kill with it. I killed a deer mouse, a Paramiscus mouse with it. I don't know whether it was white-footed or deer mouse. We have both in this particular area, but it was in an unheated garage that has a lot of food inside of it, and I was able to get one several months ago, and to show you the back side of it here. But it's pretty durable. Do I think it could be put outdoors? I think so. I think you certainly want to put it in an area where you don't have any flooding issues, and I would want you to probably protect it against heavy rainfall. And so I think if you're in an area where it's going to be protected from rain and snow, I think it can go outside, but I wouldn't say it's outdoors in the sense you could put it in the middle of the yard where it could be subject to wind blowing water in. I think that would be a problem. If you can protect it from moisture, I think it can go outdoors if you wanted to use it that way. And of course, it has the ability to anchor it down as well. And certainly it can be used inside of a home, but it provides you a green opportunity and a humane way to control rodents. Another thing that I don't like about it is it doesn't have, it will kill multiple animals, but you still have to go in and remove the carcasses. I was hoping it had some sort of a scooping mechanism that would remove the body and allow it to sort of reset so it has a clean opening again. It doesn't quite have that, but man, I'm always looking for something that'll take things to the next level. But nevertheless, pretty neat product. I'm kind of happy with it. It was shipped to me to kind of check out. So I want to give kudos to Woodstream and Mike Goldstein for sending me this. He didn't pay me to advertise it. I just said I wanted to do it, and he just sent me a version of it, and I appreciate that. And wanted to give you a little insight on it. Maybe this is something you might want to add to your particular business, especially for those clients that are looking for humane and non-toxic methods of controlling rodents that's going to be out of view, that they don't have to see a body. And this is certainly something that we can consider as we're trying to provide a less toxic way of controlling commensal rodents in our world. I'm Stephen Vantassel. You've been listening to Living the Wildlife as part of the Pest Geek podcast family. Do take a few moments to subscribe to our channel. Definitely tell me how I'm doing. You can reach out to me at wildlifecontrolconsultant@gmail.com, wildlifecontrolconsultant@gmail.com. Would love to hear from you. And of course, if you have comments, criticisms, definitely drop them along. Do join us on Facebook. We have the Pest Geek podcast family there, and we post things from time to time and share in the conversation. If you have want to be interviewed on our show, definitely reach out to me again at wildlifecontrolconsultant@gmail.com. And we've been today talking about the Victor M460UC Zapper Max from Woodstream. And interesting device. This is Living the Wildlife. Why? We want you to live the wildlife, not be the wildlife. Take care, everybody.